All right, let's call it 12. It's 11:59 in 1 minute. So welcome to Kickstart Your Marketing and Branding. My name is Zan. It says Zam, but it's not, it's Z-A-N. And Karen, so it says that I'm Karen Cornelson right now. Karen's unfortunately ill today, so I am taking her place as the host and panelist for this webinar. This webinar is put on by the Slocan Valley Economic Development Society, which is an amazing resource for all of you. If at the end of the session you're looking for more resources, the Slocan Valley Economic Partnership also works in cahoots with the BBA, the Columbia Basin Business Advisory, and they offer tech reviews, which are 1-hour sessions for your business where you can sit down with the likes of me or another tech expert and go in depth so we can hold your hand. It's a 1-hour consultation with an industry expert. So you'll get this. This is a recorded session. You'll get it at the end, and there'll be more information about those resources. So housekeeping. We have this hour together, and you want to go ahead and use the chat if you have questions as we go. We won't have time to do like a Q&A at the end. So you just want to dive right in, ask me a question in the chat, and I'll answer it as we go. Feel free to ask questions. There's no stupid question. And if you're having the question, chances are everybody else is having it too. So with that, let's get started. All right, so welcome to Kickstart Your Marketing and Branding, simple steps to tangible growth. First of all, I just want to acknowledge that the land now known as Canada is the unceded and unsurrendered territory of many Indigenous nations, and myself and my business Litework Marketing reside, work, and play on the traditional unceded territory of the Tsuut'ina and Ktunaxa nations. I've been working in digital marketing, driving sales, and creating culture online for nearly a decade. I cut my teeth marketing global immersive events and refined my skills working with brick and mortar and virtual stores, conferences, and businesses. My expertise lies in connecting businesses like yours with the cultural component of the audiences that you serve and helping you use this connection to drive sales. So my business is Litework Marketing. A year ago, we opened up our brick and mortar office on Baker Street, right beside Otter Books in Nelson, and we're super happy to be here. All right, so what are we going to be covering in this hour of power? We are going to be diving into the difference between marketing and branding. And then I'm going to be taking you through the S.T.A.R.T method. So the S.T.A.R.T method is the same methodology. I came up with it. It's the same methodology that I use with my one-on-one clients in consultations to refresh and dive deep into everything. So the first step of the S.T.A.R.T method is to survey the landscape, right? Before you head on any adventure, you want to make sure that you have a solid look at what's going on already. The second step is tactics. What are you going to use? How are you going to make this marketing work for you? Third is audience connections. Fourth is resource and reframe. And then last is tangible results. What do we actually want this marketing to do for us? And for most of us, that's dollars and cents, right? We don't just want a whole bunch of Instagram followers, we want sales. So how are we going to set those goals? Let's start at the very beginning. So marketing versus branding. So you may have heard like, this is my brand guide. You may have heard like, we need some marketing materials for that. So what's the difference? Essentially, branding is who you are, and marketing is how you promote who you are. Let's look at this another way. So marketing includes the tools, processes, and strategies you use to actively promote your product, service, and company. Branding is the marketing practice of actively shaping your brand. Branding is about defining who you are as a company. So if you could just pop in the chat for me, how you feel right now about your marketing and your branding. So you could be like, I love my brand, but I don't do enough marketing. Or like, my logo isn't really anything. I don't know what to name my business. Just give me an idea of where you're all at with this process. So let me be like, brand, I feel like this about it. Marketing, I feel like this about it. and I'm watching for your chats. Good on branding. Some people haven't had a logo. Some people are branded. So they're looking for help with branding. Solid brand. Marketing is only about 50%. Feel our brand is pretty solid. Could do better with marketing. Nice. Need marketing guidance for beginners. Branding is changing. Branding is good. Marketing could always use work. Branding, I feel okay about it. Marketing, I should do more. This is awesome. Almost there with the branding. Next, marketing. Have a solid brand, but need a marketing funnel. Cool. So this is, of course, an hour-long session, and marketing is a deep, deep, deep thing. So the goal of this is to touch on branding and marketing. We go deep into the marketing funnel in this one. We go into lots of different aspects. So even if you do feel solid with your brand, it's going to give you an opportunity to look a little bit closer at it. And if you're like, brand is killer, we look at marketing, I need to look at marketing, then we're going to go deep into that. And if you're like, I need a bit of help with both, hopefully this gives you a nice bird's eye view and everyone can take something from it. So thank you for your answers. Okay, so this is where branding and marketing overlap. And I just want to get really clear on this, because a brand is more than a logo. And you'll hear me talk about this before, or again, in this session. So it's more than just a logo. And marketing is more than just posting on social media, right? So these things are deep, and the more flushed out and the more robust understanding we have of how both of these aspects relate to our business, the more successful we'll be. So branding are things like not only our logo, but our tagline, our font, our color, our visual style, how we talk, what our brand voice is, our name, the colors, the promises, the reputation that goes along with our brand. And then marketing are the actions, right? So advertising, sales, channels, postcards, stickers, business cards, Instagram, window decals, right? All those are marketing efforts. So I just always want to pop this up to remind us, because sometimes we can get these two confused or think that we've solved our brand if we just have a logo. All right, so first steps first. I'm just going to put on my blue light glasses. So much screen time. All right, so first things first, you're going to survey your brand. Which pain points do you solve for your customers? So no matter what business you have, you're solving a pain point. And that can be really easy to understand when you're like, I am a plumber, I fix broken pipes, right? But that can be a bit more confusing if you're in like retail or clothing or dining, but it's like, they can't find blank, and that's where you come in. That's the pain point. Who is your ideal customer? It's always good to just revisit this multiple times a year and be like, our ideal customer is somebody who is in this situation, has this, like, wants us because of this reason. So they have the money to spend on us. They understand that this kind of service or product takes this amount of budget, right? Don't forget to include those aspects. I'm less interested in like, she's a 35-year-old woman with 2 kids, et cetera, et cetera. That may all be true. And in other workshops, and a little bit in this one, we go into how to use those different kind of personality traits to pull in related content marketing. But what's the key here is that they have a problem, you can fix it, and they have the resources to purchase from you, right? We don't want to just target people who are looking for furniture. Generally, if we actually know that people need to be looking for high-end furniture. What's our story? Where do we come from? Why is our brand name what it is? Who's our competition? This is really important to know about, because we want to make sure that we know how we differentiate from them and how our marketing and branding communicates that difference. Which brands do we look up to? You know, there's that quote of like, all great art is stolen. So everything that we want to have brands clearly in mind that we look up to, so that we can emulate them. All right, so if you are either refreshing your branding or looking for a bit more branding, excuse me, it's really hot in here. There's a number of questions you want to ask yourself in this process. So, what differentiates you from your competitors? Where do you see your brand in 10 years? Is this a slow process, or do you want to slowly get more and more refined? These ones are great for helping to flesh out your brand voice and the personality. If your brand was an animal or a car, what would it be and why? So are you like a Tacoma? You're super functional, like a 95 Tacoma. You're super functional, not too flashy. You're just here to get the job done. Or are you like a Lamborghini? Are you like fast, exciting? People want to come and invest in you because you're like kind of exotic, kind of secret, kind of elusive. Or are you like a new Hyundai? Like you're pretty good, solid, looks good, minimal style, you know, which brand or which car would it be? And seriously, I can't overemphasize how much answering questions like this help you flesh out your whole brand identity beyond the logo, because that's going to inform how you talk, how you work, how you communicate yourself through all of your branding assets and all your marketing efforts. This is another great one. Who would your brand be friends with? Another great one off of this is like, who would your brand be if it was a celebrity? Would it be Will Smith, like friendly, everybody likes him? Or is it more like Meryl Streep, like refined, older, intelligent? Who would it be friends with? Would your brand be friends with the like snowmobiling dudes at the parking lot? Or would your friend be friends with the bartender at the boutique cocktail lounge? See, all of these help bring your brand to life, because when your brand when your brand's alive and is flushed out and like living and breathing in that way, people can relate to it a lot more. I always love doing these kinds of questions too. So you're welcome. As I said, the webinar will be recorded, but if you want to grab screenshots or note these down, how does your brand's image fall between these opposing characteristics? And all of these help out with, again, like a North Star for you as you move forward with your branding and your marketing. How does your brand's image fall between these opposing characteristics? Playful and sophisticated. So maybe you're like, one, we are bright colors, super fun, super playful, we're always tongue in cheek. Or you're like, we're actually very sophisticated, refined, minimalist. We're not playful. We don't joke. We never use orange, that kind of thing. Simple or intricate. So where do you fall between those two polarized options? Classic and modern. Conservative and extravagant. So you can see all of these are going to help pulling in your brand into how it relates to other people. And a huge stumbling block I see with small businesses is we just stay inside of our own business too much without thinking about what our target demographic wants to see from us. So it's like, you have to be able to get behind your branding, obviously, because you have to be able to like it and engage with it. But unless you're your target demographic, or like it's not the most important thing how you feel about your branding. It's the most important thing how your ideal customer feels about your branding, right? So you have to feel solid in it, but like it's a stumbling block if your preference, your opinion is going to be the final say. This needs to be about what they want. So we need to always remember to step outside of our business and look at it from the outside in. Approachable, authoritative. So this is like the New York Times versus the Nelson Star. Approachable, friendly, small town, or the Wall Street Journal even, you know, authoritative. Necessity, luxury. So like Crest toothpaste, necessity. $10 organic like charcoal toothpaste, more on the luxury side. It goes on and on. Professional, casual. So like a snowboard brand is going to be over here. An office supply brand is going to be over here. Sporty and elegant, same kind of thing. Extreme and safe. So it's so important to go through all of these questions. Now, as we're surveying the landscape of what we have as far as our marketing and our branding and our assets, we want to look at how we're marketing to people. So we want to talk about the marketing funnel. So the marketing funnel is the processes of awareness that people go through when coming into contact with your business. So at the top, they're just finding out about you. That's the exposure level. So this is where like awareness advertising comes in. As they move down the funnel, they're moving into consideration. So they're learning more about you, they're weighing their options between you and your competitors. And at the bottom, they're purchasing from you, they're converting. And then they move into the bottom funnel where like they're becoming loyal customers, and how you treat them and how you bring them back is what's going to make the difference in that bottom funnel. So the best way to imagine this, because it's going to be kind of like abstract, but the best way to imagine this is at the top, people are problem aware. In the middle, they're solution aware. And at the end of it, in the bottom, they're product aware. So we'll go really in depth with that in this session as we get into messaging. But think of it like this. So when someone's walking down the street and they're like, oh, I could really go for a coffee, they're problem aware. They're like, I'm thirsty, I'm tired, I want a cup of coffee. And then as they move down the funnel, they're thinking, they're like, okay, well, I feel like a latte today. So I know that like this cafe, and this cafe have good lattes. What are the benefits of each one? Like maybe I have loyalty to this one, but I've always wanted to try this one, etc. And then as they move down into product aware, they're like, oh, Oso has that latte. I know that they have the best price, and that's really important to me as a consumer. So I'm going to go there. So they're product aware. They're dialing into the absolute benefit of the product, and they go and get the coffee. So that's an idea of how the marketing funnel works. I always like to use the example of like a Starbucks billboard for this, or like a sandwich board, and picture it saying like thirsty ? Problem aware. As the consumer reads down, like warm up this season with a pumpkin spice latte. That's consideration level where they're solution aware. And then it'd be like $4.95 for a grande or whatever. And then they're solution or product aware. Okay, so we've looked deep into our branding. We've been like, yes, I've asked myself all these questions. I know my identity. I know everything about what is going on with my brand. It feels more alive. I know my brand voice. I know really in depth who I am. So then we gotta think about our marketing funnel. How's our funnel? Where are people getting stuck? What are the logistical blockages? And how can we test brand perception? So what this means is like, how is that funnel? So how do people find out about us? Is it just word of mouth? Where do we we put ads in the paper? What do we do for our advertising? Where do people get stuck? So this is a question like, do people come to our website and then they can't easily figure out how they purchase from us or how they register or how they sign up, and so they leave? Or is it that we are talking about products on our Instagram, but we never tell them where to go purchase them? So you just want to get out a notebook and be like, what are all the reasons why someone might not convert? What's stopping people from converting? Logistical blockages. So this is things like, I don't have an e-commerce site and people have to DM me money to purchase from me. Or it's hard for them to sign up, or it's awkward, or I don't have a website yet, or I only have a Facebook, I don't have an Instagram. What are the tangible logistical blockages that are interrupting your funnel? What's the user experience? So do people what is their perception of going through the funnel with me? So is it they click off of a link on my Instagram, they go to my website, and then they get hit with this really noisy pop-up that takes up half the page, and then the site loads super slow, and then they have to click 15 links to get to like my product page? Those are user experience problems. And how can you test brand perception? So what this means is how can you, with like a focus group of your friends or doing like a survey, how can you get a sense of what people think about your brand? Because an unfortunate thing in business that you may have heard as a trope is that like unhappy customers don't tell you they're unhappy most of the time, they just don't come back. So how can you test and be like, what do you think of my brand? Ask people those questions. Do you think I post enough? Like, do you ever see what's going on with my business? How can you get some real world tests about what's going on? So the idea of this first step with your marketing is to just get really clear. And I always recommend writing stuff down, because we know like, oh, I should be posting on Instagram more, but we're going to get a doc and be like, these are all the blockages in my funnel. And whether it takes you 6 months or a year or 6 days to work through those blockages, you want to be really clear on what they are. So here's just another like recap around the blockages that we might be running into. Clarity of messaging, maybe it's super confusing, or you don't put enough information on your Instagram post. You just kind of use these snappy captions, but you're not telling people like ever what the price of a product is. Maybe you don't have a pixel connected, so you can't send ads to people who have been through your to your website. Maybe you don't have any way for people to pay with credit card. Maybe you don't have any way for them to pay with anything other than e-transfer. Maybe your site loads really slow. Maybe the design is kind of outdated. Maybe the function of your website isn't correct. So you can take a couple minutes while we're moving through and just write out a brainstorm list of all the blockages that you might have in your funnel. Oops. Okay. So all of your success begins with removing blockages to purchase. And you'll hear me say this again and again and again. It's all about reducing the amount of mental energy that someone has to spend to make a purchase from you. So if you have too much distraction on your site, if you don't have a clear link, if you have to go through 6 different steps to try and find your categories, if you don't have any product recommendations, let's say you're selling t-shirts, but you also are selling like suits or like matching sweatsuits, and in order to find the pants that go with my t-shirt, I have to go through all these different categories. It's not just recommended to me. How many steps or clicks does it take for the person to get the desired result? So you want that to be under 3, ideally, right? So they like click to your website, they click on it, and then they're available to purchase. If they want to explore, that's more, you know, if they want to like look at different variations and whatnot, you want to make this a really simple flow for people. Overall, does your site, business, or customer journey work the way people expect it to work? So we all are online, we all shop online. If you're a brick and mortar, we all go into brick and mortar businesses, right? So think about how your like customer journey operates, and then think of how the customer journey operates of those places you love to frequent that are in a similar space as you, and be like, where is the difference here? What do people not get from me? The first step to starting or restarting any marketing campaign is to assess where you're currently at. So what are your current sources of traffic? What are your top selling, most popular products? Where do people usually bounce from? So if you're looking at your digital efforts, at what point do people stop engaging with you? At what point do people leave your site? And so you can look at all that through your Google Analytics, or if you have Shopify or Squarespace or Wix inside those embedded analytics. Super important to get familiar with this, and it's overlooked by so many small businesses. How's your follow-up and customer retention? After people purchase from you, do they never hear from you again until they need you again? Or do you have a mailing list or some kind of like texting thing, or you call your customers to check in? So that brings us back to this part of the funnel here, retention. So after they purchase from you, what do you do to make sure that they keep going back? And last step that I always recommend in this survey piece is that we phone that friend. It's not all up to you. So this is around that brand perception piece. So you want to get your honest friend, not the one that's just going to tell you like, hey, you built a website, I'm super proud of you. We need lots of those people in our corner, but we're going to get this friend and we're going to take them into our marketing landscape, website, print ads, digital ads, Facebook, Instagram, email marketing, any of that. And we're going to be like, when would you leave? What would stop you from purchasing? When would you abandon your cart? Like if you're going through, pretend you've never seen my Instagram before, which post would you overlook? Which post would you click on? Which products would you do? Which part of my website do you dislike the most? And get that clear feedback. Okay, so we've surveyed the landscape and now we're super clear on what we need to fix. And this is our tactics. We're moving into how we're going to make this business marketing efforts come to life. We're going to post, so this isn't just assessing like our tactics, what's your marketing tactic, we post on Instagram. We're going to identify the rocket fuel that's going to take your business to the next level. So first things first here is you're going to check your resources. So we're going to check in with what we have for our tactics. So we're going to look at money, how much we have to spend, effort, our key platforms, and our allies. So money and effort is kind of on like a sliding scale together. I was just teaching someone this morning and they were like, how can I grow my Instagram? I've kind of hit this plateau. And they're like, how can I do it without spending more time on Instagram or making videos? And I was like, well, that's the thing. It's like, if you want to spend more, you can put in less effort making content, kind of. And then if you have less to spend, you need to be pounding that organic content with blog posts, videos, etc. So you need to consider those two things. How much time do you have for effort, or can you get somebody else to do it for you? So what's your capability for making videos, blog posts, content, designing ads, things like that? Key platforms. Where do you want to spend your time? And not only where do you want to spend your time, but where are the people that you want to connect with? And then allies. So this is community relationships that can help your marketing grow. So money. We're going to look at what can you afford to do? What do you want to spend monthly is a good way to look at it. And if you figure out that number, just wait. So you don't want to just be like, I'm just going to boost. I recommend you take the Facebook and ads one was already done for this one, but there's more workshops coming up with the Slocan Valley where you go into how to use your ad spend wisely. So don't just be like, I have 50 bucks and I boost post every day. You want to come up with a strategy for that. The biggest thing with spending money on ads is you want to make sure you have a clear goal. So you don't just want to increase awareness without being like, we're going to boost posts about this one product, and then we're going to send people to the site to purchase the product. So you want to be, what's my goal if I'm going to spend money? Effort. So which ideas can you come up with that push you out of your comfort zone and help increase the attention your accounts get? So make a dream list without limitations of budget or skill, and then scale back from here. So this is assuming, I saw in the feedback, lots of people need help with marketing. So whatever we're doing is here. This is what we're doing for our marketing. And so where your effort's going to come in is in what's all around here. So maybe here we post photos on Instagram every day. And then around here is like making a reel, starting an email marketing campaign, going live once a week, writing an article for the paper, taking out a print ad. What are these things outside of the comfort zone that you haven't been doing? Make this dream list and then scale back. Key platforms. So assessing, have you identified the key platforms you're going to put most of your energy into? Figuring out where your customers come from in a realistic manner is what's most important. So it's important to ask yourself, which platforms do you like? Which are you drawn to? Most importantly, where are your customers? So I just worked with a great client around this a few weeks ago, and it's a good example. So she's 20, so she likes Instagram and TikTok. But her family business sells clothing to women in their 40s and 50s. So she, for her business, even though she would love to be on Instagram and TikTok because they're the one she understands more, all of that company's business is from Facebook. And they've seen that whenever they do a boost, it gets all these sales. So that's where they put their energy. So it's about marrying the two. If you love Instagram and TikTok, but you're serving a cleaning business for people in their 50s, you need to be over on Facebook. So we need to figure out where we're going to put our energy. And we know that because we've surveyed the landscape. Relationships. Which allies and offline partnerships can we leverage during this time? So what other businesses can we partner up with to share our posts or to share their posts? How can we make relationships to extend our marketing web? So essentially, your marketing strategy is the spider in the middle of the web, and then all of these pieces, these tactics, spread out the web further and further. So your spend, your videos, your effort, your platforms, and your relationships help spread out the web and make a more robust marketing strategy. Okay, so that's looking at it from a marketing standpoint. Where are we going with our branding? Where will it have legs? Where will it live in the real world? It's important to remember that our brand is more than our logo. Which assets and attributes do you want your brand to bring to life in the real world? So are you wanting to do t-shirts? Are you wanting to have supplementary brand assets? So maybe you have your logo, but you have this killer tagline, and that's what you want to put on stickers because people are more likely to put on stickers on their snowboard that say like shred it instead of just like your company logo. So where is your brand just going to be a logo? It's business to business facing. You don't need it out in the world anywhere. Or do you want to do branded assets? So what are the tactics for your brand that you're going to use in your marketing campaign? Maybe you give away pens. That would be a brand tactic that turns into a marketing effort. What do you want your brand to do? So how do you want it to make people feel? How often will it be used in your marketing materials? Maybe it's never used, you never use it as a photo overlay, or it's used all the time. Everything you put out is branded. Is it B2B or B2C? So this is business to business or business to consumer. So if you are a cleaning company and you only work with other businesses, then your business is B2B. If you are a coffee shop, your business to consumer, right? So your branding assets are going to differ, and the way your brand moves into the world is going to differ based on your nature of your business. These are all things to get really clear on. And the more we get clear on them at the outset, at the start of our marketing campaign, the easier these things go. Okay, so let's all take a breath, a lot of information, grab a sip if you want. Next step in the START method is our audience. So you can see where we're progressing with this. Surveyed the landscape. We're so up to date with our brand and our marketing efforts. We have our list of what we need to get covered, what we need to get fixed. We have our tactics. We know our budget. We know the types of videos we're going to do, the types of effort we're going to put in. We know where we're going to put our time, our key platforms. And this whole concept is like a month long or 60 days or 90 days, right? This is not for the rest of eternity. This is like, as we're restarting this February 3rd, we are going to hit that reset button. And this is our campaign. We're going to revisit it again and again, but this is where we start. Now we're moving into the A of the START method, which is our audience. So we need to know who we're talking to. And you probably know this because you're in business already, or you have a guest because you're starting up. So who are your 3 ideal consumers? And most importantly, what are the problems you solve for them? So again, more than just like making a prototype of Jessica, 35, loves the color blue, etc. Important, but it's like Jessica comes shopping to us because she loves our kitschy mugs with sayings on them. She loves to get them for her friends. And then Ryan comes shopping with us because he loves the fact that we always have sizes up to extra large. And then Lisa comes shopping with us because we always manage, we're the only ones in town that pull in like the latest styles. We're always 6 months ahead of everybody else. And she always looks for like our new hits, right? So we're thinking of those 3 ideal consumers and the reasons why they come into your store or come interact with your business. So when we figure out who we're talking to, first thing we want to figure out is their cultural relevancy. And this is huge. So there's one type of marketing that's soapbox marketing, right? You are standing there on your little soapbox and you're like, I have like bobblehead dogs for sale. And you're like, have you seen this bobblehead dog? Bobblehead dog, bobblehead dog. Did you know I'm the company that sells bobblehead dogs? So that's soapbox marketing, and that's pretty boring and ineffective. But going back to those 3 people, right? So Jessica, the mom who loves blue, she loves those kitschy mugs that we sell. And so she also loves inspirational quotes. And whenever we put an inspirational quote on our Instagram page, she shares it. It's awesome. It gives her an incentive to engage with us outside of just constantly being sold to. So as I said before, there's like the person with their issue that we fix for them. And then there's their whole identity here. And their whole identity is how we relate to them, their cultural relevancy, right? So when I talked about make sure your brand has come to life with a brand voice and tone, it's like your brand is over here being a fully fleshed out entity. And then you can relate on your cultural sides. So it's everything that is outside of your actual problem that you solve. And we'll go into an easy way to figure this out in a second. How do they like to be sold to? So is it kind of like every 3rd post you sell to them? Is that they only want to hear from you when you have a sale on? Is it that they just want to know the facts? You know, maybe you're like a plumbing service and they just want to be like, how much are you an hour? And how many people trust you? What are your testimonials? Like, are you good or not? My bathroom sink is flooding. They don't want to hear inspirational quotes, you know, or they want to see videos of before and after. They're a carpenter and they just want to be like, are you good? Or you're a carpenter. They want to see before and after videos. Maybe on TikTok, transformation videos, and they just want to know how good you are. So how do they like to be sold to? What do they need to know to trust you? And then again, looking at our business from the outside in. So if we think about our customers and how our customers view our business, what do they like? And what do they dislike about our business? What makes them feel trusted? What makes them feel annoyed? We need to look at all those things. Cool. Anybody remember this shape? It's the funnel. So as I said, at the top of the funnel, they're problem aware. And they go through the funnel, they're solution aware, and mid-funnel, they're product aware. So what I'm about to give you is an example of funnel messaging for your audience, right? So this peeps into how do they like to be sold to. So At the top of the funnel, we're talking about the core problem. Second part of the funnel, we're talking about the solution. And in the bottom of the funnel, features, hooks, and proof. So this is messaging that you're going to use for your business. And so what's important here is that you move throughout your marketing efforts on social, on email marketing, wherever you're putting your time, you want to be moving through this marketing funnel. Because like my example with the bobbly-head dog, if I'm just constantly talking about the product, I'm missing all of these areas of the problem aware and the solution aware. So if I'm like, it's like this example of like that coffee, right? When we were talking about the funnel with the person looking for coffee, if you're like, I'm like thirsty for a coffee, and then someone's like, it's a French vanilla latte, it's $4.95. You're like, okay, but I don't even know what if I want a latte or an Americano, like this is a bit intense for me. Or another analogy is like, it's like asking to get married before you've dated. So you need to meet them up here, and you want to keep recycling this content because everyone who sees your marketing materials is going to be at different levels of the funnel. So at the top, you talk about the problem. In the middle, you introduce the solution. And then in the bottom, you talk about the features, hooks, and proof. So talking about the core problem. Are you struggling with? Do you desire? Would you like to? Are you tired of? That's an example, right? Though that kind of messaging works really well in ads. And so I just want to have a caveat here that like, this is not a formula you're just going to follow every time. It's not your new brand voice. You're not going to be like awareness post, like, are you tired of sitting on an uncomfortable couch? Buy this couch instead, right? But this is a concept that you want to remember. So if you're doing paid ads and you have an actual funnel, this kind of exact messaging is going to be better. But another way to remember this, you'll see it in a slide second, is like, this is cheap and cheerful content at the top. These are your boosted posts. This is like a relatable piece of art. It's just like introducing yourself to the person. Middle introduces the solution, benefits, and claims. So blank can help you to increase your blank, discover the blank, lose blank without the blank, right? So an example of this would be like, let me just think of a product or a service. For my own business, it'd be like Litework marketing helps businesses increase their revenue through digital advertising, or like lose the, if you're a moving business, like move without the headache, move without the massive bill, work from home without really working from home, if you're like a co-working space or something like that. So it's like the benefits and claims, what you do. And then in the bottom, product, features, hooks, and proof. So like blank makes X more beautiful. This is where you're like, our new spring collection comes in 3 colors, or this dance class registration is open now, $29.95. Testimonial quote is really good here. That's proof, right? Hooks, like registration closes this day, 4 spots left. This is a hard sale. And so many times businesses thinking that they're doing the right thing, just use this level of product of marketing, right? So they're always just like, new collection and it's $14.95 without remembering this whole funnel. Okay, so to recap, when they're problem aware, you want light, relatable, catchy content, right? So you're not asking for anything, you're not telling them about anything, you're just like, this is a delicious drink, delicious, you want it, right? Introduce a solution. It's like, okay, in this example, I know I use a lot of different examples, but I try and cover different industries. So let's say I'm a restaurant. So the top one is like, it's a picture of a cocktail on the bar, and it's like, moments like this are made for sharing, or something like that. More detailed and in-depth. So this is solution aware. It's like, did you know, or it's like, maybe it's a photo of people cheersing at the restaurant, and it's like, large groups love this room because they get privacy. It's great for staff parties, etc. Or like leave, maybe it's about getting online bookings. So you're like, leave, like, don't worry about calling in, just use this line. And then asking for it is where you're just like, call to make a reservation. Call to make a reservation. We have this many spots on our Valentine's dinner, etc. So light, relatable, and catchy, more detailed and in-depth, and then asking for it. Again, forgetting to talk to all parts of your funnel is like shoving a purchase into someone's hand the minute they walk into the store. No one likes that. You don't even know why I'm here. So like, don't just recommend me something because I haven't even looked around yet. Or I just heard about you on the street. So key to remember. Okay, content tiers, AKA buckets of glory. So when we were talking about the person that we're talking to, and then all their related interests. Coming up with these 3 content tiers will help you avoid getting stuck in a content rut, help you reach new aspects of your audience, connect with new ones, and avoid the what do I post next nightmare. Oh, crazy. Hang on, I'm missing slides. 1 second. Please hold. Okay, so in the center, so this is great. Bust out a piece of paper, get a Google Doc or something like that, but you want to be able to draw a mind map. This is like an in real life activity. So in the center, you have your business. And then to the sticking out of the center, you have the content tiers. So you have content 1, content 2, content 3. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so this is our amazing cafe. So we're like, what am I going to post about my amazing cafe? Or what are the content tiers for my amazing cafe? I know that a lot of this slants digitally because that's how small businesses market these days, but this can apply to like print as well if you're doing that. So I own this amazing cafe and I'm like, cool, I'm going to post about food features, obviously. I'm going to post about staff features, and I'm going to post about our history because it's in a super cool, like historic building. We've been in business for 30 years. We have this really interesting history. But if I just have these 3 content tiers, it's going to get pretty redundant, right? Because we can't just be like, this is a delicious sandwich. This is Jessie, who's worked here for 10 years. Did you hear that we've been open for 30 years? And then like sandwich, Lisa, we've been open for 30 years, right? This gets redundant. So we want to build out from here. So behind our food features, and this is where we get into the cultural relevancy of people that we're talking to over here. So we have our food features, cool. That's like a picture of our food. But then what else can we do? So maybe we know that like an Anthony Bourdain quote always does really well. So we also post quote cards of Anthony Bourdain quotes. And we, every once a month, we share a recipe and behind the scenes video of making one of our dishes so our people can make it from home. And then we also love to post like amazing food from our favorite restaurant in New York that really inspires us and see what people respond to that. And it's just like amazing food photography, maybe that's the concept. So then through doing this process, we open up these different aspects of the food features concept to relate to different people. So maybe like Lisa, who loves Anthony Bourdain quotes and is just a sucker for anytime she sees an Instagram quote, is gonna love this Anthony Bourdain quote that she sees and give us a follow, but she's just like, don't tell me with a picture of a sandwich, I don't really like that. Or maybe Jesse loves seeing how recipes are made because he's a super foodie and he wants to see where the ingredients come from. So this recipes and behind the scenes post is going to relate to him. Whereas again, if we were just posting food features and neglecting these kind of breakout areas, we wouldn't have these related access points to people's cultural relevancy. Same with the dream food. So if we look at staff and community, right? So this looks simply like we're posting pictures of our staff because we love them, which is great. But then again, that's only relatable to so many people. So what else is there? So maybe all of our staff, or maybe there's a certain aesthetic of our business and the art that we have on our walls at our amazing cafe. So we're going to post pictures of that or similar artists. And then all of a sudden, maybe we have like we hire a certain type of people or people with a certain interest. We're relating to that. So it's like, well, I might not click or care or follow or engage with a profile picture of your bartender because I'm like, that's cool, but I'm not really that interested. Maybe I love that mural you have in your bathroom and you just showed me another one by the same artist. Amazing. I'm hooked. The ethos. So like, what is it? Why are staff drawn to working with you? What is that? Maybe some business tips. So it's like when we started out, we wanted to make sure that all of our staff felt like family because we had this one experience working with this cafe when we were 20 and it changed our whole life. So maybe like other businesses that are independent and small can look to you for that kind of resource. So all of this is around staff and community, but not just staff and community. And then our history. So we've been in business for 30 years. We're in this heritage building, super cool. Maybe we can also branch out into heroic pictures of our town, or go back into our why. Why is it so important that we stayed small and independent? Why is it so important that or did you know about this crazy haunted closet we have upstairs that none of the staff will go into? All of these like sneaky peekies. So we make this map and we print it out, or we print it and we put it up. So when we're going to post or we're going to do marketing efforts, we're circling through these pieces of content and these content tiers. Because then not only are we helping people access our business from the outside in, we are making sure that there's a multitude of relational access points. So these are access points for people that might be interested in you, but won't be interested if it's just constantly the same kind of content all the time. Okay, 1 second. I had to jump slides. Get that one back. Sorry about that, guys. I'm having a little glitch in my slides here. All right, so the next step. So we have looked at the entire landscape. We've surveyed the campaign. We've looked at our funnel. We know what we need to fix. We've gotten feedback. We've looked deeply at our brand. It's live. We know how it talks. We know how it walks. We know how it sings. We figured out our tactics. We know what we can spend. We know what kind of content where we're going to put our effort. We know which platforms we're going to focus on, and we know which community partnerships we want to make. We have figured out our audience, and we have figured out the types of content that are multi-funnel. So the types of content that people want to hear from at different stages of their customer journey. And we have figured out the types of messaging that we want to send to people. We have our content tiers. We're so set up now. We know what we want to talk about. We know these various types of content. We know that things have to go through a funnel. So now we're going to reframe the campaign. So part of the START method, right? It's like a restart. Even if you're marketing, we're just gonna take this restart. This is where you're either gonna start your first official campaign or take a microscope to the marketing strategy that you currently have running. Bust out the calendar. It's time to get serious. So we're going to plan our content and plan our marketing efforts in advance. And I cannot overemphasize this enough for your success. So it's like that old adage that's annoyingly true: fail to plan, plan to fail. There's no way that you can effectively know that you're hitting all those different content tiers and seeing what the results of those are, or that you can see how your resources and your tactics are doing, or how to see how the different aspects of your funnel messaging are doing if you're shooting from the hip every day. When we shoot from the hip and we don't plan in advance, we end up not knowing what to post. We get into analysis paralysis where we're just like, I don't know if this is good enough. And then all of a sudden we haven't posted for 2 weeks. We don't send the ad into the newspaper. We miss deadlines, right? We need to plan in advance. So we're going to bust out a 30, 60, or 90-day calendar. Either use Google Sheets if that works for you, if you're a spreadsheet person, a physical calendar, a notebook, your iCal, your Google Calendar, or a service like Later or Planoly. So there's third-party social content planning, Later and Planoly. All right, so for this campaign, you're going to think about what products or services are you actively promoting? What is your goal for this? What are the easiest ways, thinking back to our tactics, that we can get the best results? So are we going to really focus on mailers? Are we going to focus on video? Are we going to focus on print? What are our tactics that we want to employ, and where are we going to put our focus? So one thing at a time, first things first, right? You'll have more success and have more success with the chance of follow through if you're like, for February, I'm focusing on videos as my tactics. And then in March, I'm going to do my mailing list. If we start this off with being like, I'm going to market, I'm a marketing professional now, and try and cover everything, it depends, you know where you're at and you know where you can go. If you've already got a steady rhythm here, you can step that up. But if you just want to really just like focus on one thing, it's easier to build on the success of one thing than trying to attack a bunch of things at once. Sneak the sales. So can you do product tagging? How are you going to directly ask for sales? How are people going to find out what your call to action is and take the purchase or make the purchase with you? When can you schedule? So this is key. So when in your business flow, your workflow, and your life flow, can you plan out your content in advance? So whether or not that means that you're sitting down and scheduling it all so you don't have to look at it again, or where can you write in your calendar the type of content you're going to post that day? There's a content calendar workshop coming up, and I highly recommend that you take it because it shows you how to plan to make sure you're hitting all those content tiers and you're hitting all those places in your funnel. And then it's all about momentum. So it's key with marketing that you just surrender to the process, make a plan, and then just follow through the plan. So many small business owners get stuck in like, I'm embarrassed, or I don't want to be salesy, or I just like, oh, I feel so awkward. But it's not about that. You do so many things for your business that you don't enjoy, and marketing just needs to be on that list. Hopefully you do enjoy it. Like, it can be very fun. When you start to see results, it can be really, really fun. But it's just like mopping the floor and doing your taxes. It's like you said you were going to post a post about this on Tuesday, you post a post about that on Tuesday. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. It doesn't matter if the photo could be better, right? Done is better than perfect. It's all about momentum. 5 mediocre posts is going to do you so much more than 1 great post and then nothing for 12 days. Okay, it's all about momentum. All right, so we reframe the campaign. Boom, we know where we're going. We know where we've been, we know what we've fixed, we know who we're talking to, and we have a plan. So now our last step is our trajectory. Even if it feels scary or obscure, setting small goals will help you stay on track and measure your progress. We don't know where we're going, we'll end up where we started. Okay, so we want to talk about little incremental goals. So yes, all of our overarching goals probably are to get more sales, right? But that's a bit broad. And then it's easy to feel like we failed if we post 5 videos this month and we only get 1 more sale. We need to look at it in many levels. So is it a little bit of reach? Or is it you just want to be consistent with one type of marketing? Or is it a sales goal? Or is it like you just want to try out a new type of content? Or you're going to check and be like, wow, maybe I made 20 sales, but I had 15 abandoned carts. And last month I had 2 abandoned carts. So that could have been 35 sales. What can I do to turn those people who didn't buy into people that buy? Maybe I asked for DMs on a post and 5 people DM me. That's totally new. That's a success. So what are these little realistic goals that you can set so that you feel like, yes, I am moving forward in a positive way? It's about incremental growth. And then the whole thing is rinse, assess, adjust, and repeat. So see what worked, see what doesn't work. Maybe you're talking to that one audience member, Jesse, the dude that you thought came in because he loves the snowboard stuff. And every time you post something about that, you don't get any engagement. So sorry, we're not talking to you anymore, Jesse. You don't ever give us any love. So it's not effective. Maybe we did this kind of social ad, or we put an ad in the paper and nothing works. So we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to adjust. We're going to go back, do these 30-day campaign, go back to the beginning, survey the landscape. What can I tweak on my website? What can I make a little bit better here? What are my tactics? Maybe I put all this money into Facebook ads and it's nothing, and all of my audience is reading the paper and I need to move over there. How am I going to change my tactics? Maybe I made videos for a month and nothing happened. So I don't need to make videos anymore. What else can I do? So we're going to look at those, look at our audience, check in and make sure that's who we want to talk to. Look at our content tiers again, make sure all of those are relevant and getting good results. Make another 30-day calendar and plan it out in advance and just follow through that rhythm. And that rhythm will carry your business forward and make sure you have a plan. So in a nutshell, that is an hour of power over the most condensed marketing strategy process you could possibly ever get. So we have 5 minutes. If anybody has any questions, I can answer specific questions about your business. Or if there's anything you want me to revisit. I'm watching the chat if anybody has any questions. Okay. Thank you. Glad you learned a lot. Awesome. It was a lot. Yes. Physical marketing in the Slocan Valley, 100%. So yeah, can't be overlooked. Advertising in the Pennywise and the Valley Boys does a lot in the Valley. So all of these things, you know, content tiers and stuff like that applies more to like posting, but you definitely want to use that same kind of funnel marketing concept in your target demographics for print advertising. Yeah, I learned my lesson there. I used to say like, never use print. You can't control it, but print does have its stronghold in smaller communities. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. My brain always feels hot coming out of these, so I can imagine for you, but you'll all get this recording. Get back to work, totally. The resource info for the 1 hour of tech help will be sent out in the email. And I also just want to thank you all. I forgot at the beginning. Thank you all for rescheduling. I was super sick when this was originally scheduled. I know that was a massive inconvenience and I would have absolutely done it if I could have, but I was very sick. So thank you for rescheduling. So appreciated. I know it was inconvenient. Nice. Great job. Nice. Nice. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Debbie. I will stay happy and healthy. Thanks, Kay. Awesome. Good luck, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks.